Say what's good, y'all. It's Stingy. You know what I mean? Stingy here for another entry of my astrological practice, of this astrological practice. And I just had a quick ponderance about the subject of horary. Um, and my question came from like, what if we don't need necessarily a question for it? What if we can just gauge specifically like what we're supposed to be doing in a moment, or what to focus our awareness to for the moment, using a horary like question, not question, but using a horary methodological system. What I mean is, what if we can just take the significators of the querent, that being the moon, and the other planet, whatever planet is rising, and we can see whatever planet either one of those planets are making and applying aspect to, and we can look at the house that rules the planet that's being applied to. Say it's the second house. Say Libra is rising, and so our significators would be Venus and the moon. And then we see that the moon is applying to Jupiter, and then we look, if Libra is rising and we're looking at the house that rules over Jupiter, we're going to look into the third house as well as look into the sixth house, So what if we see the moon applying to Jupiter and it's not going to be prohibited or something, and we can see that something in the related to the third house, whether that be media or the news, your daily news outlet where you get your information from. What if we look at to that, and there's something in that, if we pay our focus and our awareness to, that can like kind of relieve us of some like mental anxiety, or like it can give us a sense of clarity of, okay, this is what I can do for this present moment, And I want to go into an example later. And so if what if we didn't need a question for it? What if we could just look at something and just be, oh, okay, if I focus my awareness on this, then boom, like I'm gonna feel I'm gonna feel cool. Like this is where I'm at right now. Not necessarily that if we focus our awareness to something is going to um free us up of something, but it's just signified this is what's come forth from fortune, this is what's come made its way, into materiality for to be perceived, to be judged, to be discerned. Um, these are just my thoughts, real quick thoughts and stuff like that. I want to give an example, go into a quick little example, for anybody who has the attention span to follow me in my research and stuff like that. But give me some time to figure this thing out real quick. And you can skip through the video or whatnot. If you don't want to wait and look at my beautiful room, because this shit is just magnificent. I should really sell that art painting for, nah, no, I shouldn't, not at all. But my focus. Share screen. Gonna go here. So this is the chart we're going to be looking at real quick. Make this a little bit lower. All right, we're going to share this. It's the chart we're looking at. So let's say for this present moment, you feel me? It's on clock, so it's continuously going. But for this present moment, Saturn is rising, the ruler of Saturn, which is Capricorn. Saturn, we look at the Querents planet. What would be the Querents planets? Saturn and the moon. Saturn is in Aries, at 0 degrees and it's going retrograde. So we'll see something about that. Is Saturn going to make an aspect? Saturn in Aries is going to make an aspect on its continuation for till it's retrograde with any of these planets? I think not. So let's see. Let's go by day. We're gonna go up. Do. Feel me? We can gauge, is Saturn going to hit 27 degrees, 26 degrees? And I think, okay, so Saturn will hit eventually. All right, let's go to clock. Saturn in retrograde will eventually hit Venus in Cancer at 27 degrees. It'll hit that ray. You know what I mean? So now if we go back to the clock, if we go back to the regular chart, what houses rule Venus? We look at ninth. We look at the ninth house of higher education and learning and teaching and being a student of something, foreign travel in the mind of philosophy, broadening your horizons, or the ninth house is of the joy of the sun. So the sun is representative of something that gives us purpose, clarity, wisdom, direction. It's the truth of somebody's spirit, that calls them on their individuality and their creative, generative properties. Venus is going to eventually hit the ruler of the ninth. I mean, Saturn, the ruler of this hour, is going to eventually hit the ruler of the ninth house, which is Venus, by retrograde. So would that tell me about something in the present moment, that studying higher education is what's come forth? This is something that I should give my attention to. I'm just asking a question. I think it's smart for us to ask questions nowadays about anything, just in general. But not only that, but what else house rules the ninth house? I mean, rules Venus right now? Taurus, the fourth house. Something of home, family, ancestral karma, wisdom, the past. What about something in the past that I have control over right now and I give my attention to right now? Could I focus my attention on the home, property, land, something that I own? It could be my space. I believe my room is something very fourth house. It's something that belongs to me necessarily. It shows my creativity. It shows my inner world. I see the fourth house as the room. And me putting my room out there in this present moment, for people to see, I feel like that all means something. All right, let's see where the moon is also a secondary significator of the querent, if you were to ask a question. So is the moon making an aspect to any planet in this chart without being prohibited? Yes, it's making a planet to Jupiter. It's making an applying aspect to Jupiter. The moon will eventually hit 16 degrees Virgo, where it's making an exact sextile aspect to Jupiter, which rules what houses? Jupiter rules the 11th house and the 12th house. You see, friends, allies, associates, people who we count on, or associates and associations, networks we count on, that could help us in the arena of career, since the 11th house is part of the angular triad with the 10th house, you know? The 12th house, Jupiter is also the ruler of the 10th house, 12th house. What is something of solitude, monkishness, or something that it could be something of self-undoing, you know? The 12th house can't see the first house, which is the house that is considered and signified as Dharma, something that the natives, that tells us about the natives' right behavior or what they are, their actual identity, you know, their character. But the 12th house can't see the first house, so it has its associations of self-undoing or things that takes away from the freedom or the autonomy of the character, which is like solitude or substances, you know, depression, stuff like that, that it doesn't feel good, you know. But what's something of that? Saturn has its joy in the 12th house. So the 12th house has a lot of significations of being disciplined, going far off, prisons, hospitals, going far off to gain to into a space where we can be in solitude, be away from the world, and gain some type of wisdom in which we can later come back to the world and apply that type of wisdom that we found when we were in solitude or left alone by ourselves in our quote unquote depressive state. I don't really see the 12th house as really a depressive state too much. I want to take out like the influence of feeling when we talk about the houses and stuff like that, and just keep a stoic perspective. But and then the second house of resources, of what your skills that can get you latched onto the world and into the material world, and you know, maintain your livelihood. What is something of my skills right now that I can, what is it, what is the present moment telling me about something that I have within me to gain some material comfort and grounding in the world so I can gain income or, you know, release that income on things that I want that make me, that identify with myself, you know, which is why the second house has its connections with the first angular triad, first house angular triad. You see, these are things that I'm pondering of. What if we don't need a question for a horary? What if we can just see it and we can kind of navigate and move throughout the world in such a way? But it's real quick, feel me? Real getting my thoughts out there. And I'm gonna just end it right there.